All right, welcome to today's session. Today is the live teardown sessions. This is slightly different to our normal webinars. We are looking at specific content on Amazon listings and reverse engineering that for you for both Cosmo and Rufus, which is part of today's topic. So excited for people to join. You know, we've had some of these in the past where we've brought on guests, we've looked at listings together. So it's really here as an opportunity for anyone here to ask questions and get stuck into what is this AI era moment for Amazon? What does that look like for you as a brand or an agency selling products or managing products on Amazon? And how to get the most out of that to drive revenue, profits, and all the good things we want to do in the Amazon space. So I'm going to add these comments over here on the right so I can see anybody here who's live. You know, feel free to add a comment on any platform so I know where you're coming in from. And you know, if you have some burning questions around Amazon AI and how to really get the best out of it right now, you're welcome to ask questions as we go. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive straight into it. So let me jump over here. Let me know if there's a comment here so I know if we're all loud and clear and everything's been heard perfectly. So that'll be amazing. Oh, Brandon, what's up, man? Good to see you. Appreciate it. It's always good to see you, Brandon. Thanks for jumping on. I think you're going to get a lot out of this, Brandon, today. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get going. All right. All right, let me drag this over here. Loud and clear, perfect. Michael, what's happening? All good to see you as well. Okay, so let me slideshow this. All right, so how we're going to roll today? We're gonna jump in and do some live case study work around Rufus and the various ways that customers use Rufus today, right? So that's going to be the topic today. Is like, what are the different ways, the different use cases of how people search using Rufus? Let's get stuck into that, and let's look at the reverse engineered side of that as well. Like, if these are the types of questions that people are asking, what do you need to do on the content side to ensure that you're structuring your content for this AI era, which is obviously here and here to stay. So that's what we're going to get into today. We've got an hour together. I'm going to spend 10 minutes up front really just talking about the theoretical part of this, and then we're going to jump into a live use case. And it's a little risky today because you know, I've deliberately not done anything on this use case that I'm going to be bringing up because I want to make sure that Amazon is not, you know, looking at my behavioral previous data, right? So I'm picking a category like I've never researched, and we're going to see what that looks like, and then we're going to score it as well for optimization as well. Hey, Brandon, good to see that comment. We use Zongery to optimize 91 pool listings, and they've been selling like crazy. Almost all SKUs are sold out. Wow. Geez, that's amazing to hear, man. I'm really stoked. Yeah, and I see you being active in the space. So thanks, Brandon. Yeah, we're seeing some crazy results from, you know, optimizing for this content. So I'm going to start with this. I love the unpopular opinion. Rufus is Amazon's best salesperson, but most listings aren't giving it anything to sell, right? You know, it's not a passive experience anymore. It is absolutely proactive. And I'm going to show you that right now. And I've got a comment at the bottom there. Oh, by the way, your mother might not be using Rufus, but 270 million customers are. You know, that's a note to just an objection that we see is like people are like, well, I don't use Rufus, right? You know, my mother's not using Rufus. I'm not, you know, I don't see customers searching in this way. Well, you know, I guarantee you there are a bunch of people using this. This is specifically a stat from Amazon. 270 million customers are using it. And there are some real money economics behind that to show that Amazon is all in, not only because of the money economics, you know, the percentage, I'll show you that in a second, but, you know, they have to protect their own backyard. Conversational search is here to stay, and they need to own that and the quality of that experience versus ChatGPT or any of the other platforms, right? If I can't say this loudly enough, like, you know, you go and search on Google today, right? If you're looking for a category and you want to do some research, you're going to type in something. When the organic results come up, how many of you actually are clicking on those organic results to actually look at that before you look at what the agentic summary is at the top, right? And the conversation that's being had there, right? So gone are the days of like us clicking into all these links and looking. We're looking and we're conversing with the AI at the top. So this is happening on Amazon already, but like when they start to push that, and your search results pages, you type in and you're seeing the Rufus conversation before, obviously the organic results, are you clicking on the organic results, or are you starting to engage with Rufus? And that's happening today. And I do that in my own way of shopping. If I'm like looking for a product, I'll just type in, because I know it's an intent-based search. And I'm like, hey, I want, this specific iPhone cover. I'm going to type in the keyword and buy it, right? But if there's a product that I want to research because I'm not quite sure yet, I don't need to go to Google or ChatGPT or anything right now. I can do that on Amazon with Rufus, and the experience is great. Honestly, is probably the best experience that I have on Amazon today, because I don't have to sift through a whole bunch of listings. I can just have a conversation with Rufus, get the answers, and buy it. And we're going to go through that today with a real world example. So should be fun. I'm going to get into that now. So this is the real world example we're going to go through today. A robot vacuum. I personally, crazily enough, I haven't purchased one of these. I hear from friends, whatever, it's like the best thing to do, and you can buy one of these and it changes your life. I don't know. I haven't got one myself. So, I don't know anything about these categories. I haven't researched robot vacuums. I don't know all the intricacies of like how and when and how it should be used, or the features or anything like that. So we're going to go through that today in a real world example. So this is a use case where a buyer is coming to Amazon and going, hey, I'm interested in buying this product, but I know nothing about it. So do I type in a keyword and start reading all the listings, or do I have a conversation with Rufus in an efficient way to get recommendations that will make me a more educated buyer, so I buy the right thing? Let's see what it looks like when we get in, right? So that's what we're going to go through today, and excited, right? Maybe I'll become a robot vacuum owner pretty soon. So a couple of things. The buyer journey just got rebuilt, right? This is the biggest shift that's happened on Amazon in literally the last, 10 years, right? It's a move to this AI era, where the old way on Amazon, which is still today intent-based, right? Scroll, type in a keyword, scroll, look through, click on some listings, compare, look at reviews, decide, read the features, the attributes, right? And make your decisions. The new way is in that use case is using Rufus, which is research, have a conversation, get some recommendations, and get educated, get some recommendations, and then purchase. And there's a lot more of what's next in this intelligent AI agentic commerce, which is what it is, right? So already Amazon is starting to release features around Rufus, which make it a much more of an agent, a proactive agent that can help you and improve your shopping experience, right? So we don't search anymore, we consult. And these are some of the stats, right? 270 million customers from Amazon using it, 60% higher conversion. That's like the biggest one for me, right? And why Amazon is all in on this. If the stats coming back right now is that if customers use Rufus, they are converting at a 60% higher conversion rate than the typical keyword intent-based search funnel. That is massive for Amazon, and that is massive for brands, right? You need to get in there, because if you recommend it, they're going to buy you at a 60% higher rate, 149% year over year growth, $12 billion in projected revenue. This is real. It's not going away. It is here to stay. They need to literally own this space, and it is just a start. And if you're not sending the right signals to this intelligent algorithm that is required to drive experiences like Rufus in the best way possible, you're missing out on traffic. And as this becomes more and more ingrained into the Amazon search experience, you are going to miss out, and someone else is going to take it, right? They'll just put another competitor in your place. So what is this new AI model? The best way to explain it is there's plenty of webinars I've done in the past. I'm not going to get stuck into this today, but there is the semantic technical mapping side that Cosmo, as an intelligent algorithm that drives both keyword searches and the Rufus experience, is looking for, right? Gone are the days of I need to put a keyword in my listing in this place to send, with a conversion of X amount to make sure I rank on this, right? It needs to have this product knowledge graph mapping in place in a technical way to send the signals to Cosmo so it understands what is your product, who's it for, when should it be used, what are the different features, all of those kind of things is the technical mapping for Cosmo. And then the other side is the Rufus question engineering, right? What are the top questions that people will be asking when researching this product category? How do I make sure my content answers that? What are the top buyer decision-making questions that my category is looking for around what do they actually need to know about your product to ensure that they buy it and that it gets recommended, right, etc. Right. So those are the two aspects, and if you can use your content to optimize for that, you are being discovered and recommended in a much higher fashion to reach those 270 million customers. Now, some of the objections are like, hey, well, what about all the other things that Amazon use for ranking? Performance metrics, reviews, sell-through rate, click rate. Yeah, all of those things are still absolutely critically important. But if you're not optimizing your content for this new layer, you're not getting discovered as much, right? And we see that. We see optimize those things converting, at a higher rate, getting more sessions, being more discovered more, right? And if you're not playing in the space, you're missing out. So let's jump into a couple slides here before we go and look at the live example. Again, if you have any questions, love to hear them, or comments, and feel free to comment like, hey, if there's something else that you want me to talk about, not in today's live session, but next Friday's live session, I can jump into that and I can, definitely dive in more on any topic. So, I'm here to hear what you want to learn about, and then we'll make sure that we curate our content for that. So the 5-way customers use Rufus, right? So this is pretty self-explanatory, but it's important to note, right? The first category is research category. Teach me what matters, right? So like, I need to understand, like, we're going to go through this, right? A robot vacuum. I don't know anything about it. What are the important things that I need to understand about this product? What are the attributes, right? So teach me the important things about the category. Define the buying criteria. So not only the research things, what's important, but like, now what are the things that are important to me? Now moving to the third one, which is get recommendations. I need recommended products for this specific search criteria. This is the biggest lift that I've seen in terms of the experience of why I use Rufus more, right? Because I don't need to now look at every listing. Once I know what my buying criteria are, I don't need to click into every single PDP to look at whether that product matches my buyer criteria. I can ask Rufus, hey, this is my specific buyer criteria. Give me some recommendations. And it'll give me recommendations, and it will tell me why it's recommending that. So I can easily scan that and then pick the ones that I want, and then potentially move in and look at the PDP. So it's a much more efficient way of finding the products that matter. There's thousands of listings I can scroll through to find what matters, or I can ask Rufus to recommend it, and hopefully the recommendation is objective, and they have to lean into objectivity, right? Otherwise they lose that experience. Now the new ones that are coming and that are here is delegate repeat purchases, right? So I, look at my shopping criteria. We're going to look at some examples on this, but like, are there things there that that are, that could be repeat purchase that I don't have to worry about and, keep looking for, right? And then hunt deals and order buy, right? So track these products, order buy on these ones. When the product hits the right price, buy it for me. Or, hey, look at my cart, and if you see in the history, there's actually something that makes sense to put on to subscribe and save, put it on to subscribe and save for me. Save me money, right? So these are all things as a agentic commerce experience that Rufus can now do, right? That people are starting to lean into. So, this is obviously where we're playing right now. This is happening already, but it's going to grow massively, right? So, imagine if you're into that proactive agentic commerce space with your product, and you're getting sold and put into people's carts and bought without them even really specifically directing on your product because you're getting recommended. That is huge for your brand, right? So you need to make sure that you are first in line for that, right, when it happens. Great. Okay, so let's jump in. So the first one, and the way I've structured these slides, right, is to talk about some of the specific questions, but then the reverse engineering of the structured listing engineering part of it, right, which is obviously the most critical thing you need to do. And what we do with Zonguru and our new product Helix is how do you make sure that you have the structural engineering in place to reverse engineer the questions and the Cosmo mapping that needs to happen so that you get recommended, right? So the teach me side, right? I don't know what I don't know. Teach me what matters, right? So the common questions: what should I look for when buying a robo vacuum? What's the difference between this product and this product? What are some robo vacuum products? Why are some way more expensive, right? So these are questions that you can ask, right? And the education side you need to do on your listing is, the category content, not just features. You need to educate the benefits, the clear definition of attributes, comparison framing. Like, that's one of the ones that's missing most in listings is the compared to, right? How do you compare to in the right way? A plus content needs to not only just sell, but it needs to educate. And that's the beauty of the new AI era of Amazon, is your listings can actually sell and educate and explain benefits. They don't have to be ingredient based, keyword stuffed listings, right? That don't make sense, which is what it's been. So the reverse engineering question: what should I consider when buying a robo vacuum, right? So that's easy. Help me figure out what I should care about. So common questions: what's the most important feature in this type of product if I have a hairy dog, right? So I have a specific constraint, like I have a $300 budget, right? What should I prioritize, right? Is this feature worth paying extra for in this scenario, right? So these are things that I need to educate myself on, so that I am clear on, like, what are the most common things that I need to think about before I ask for recommendations, right? So, and then in the listing, you need to use specific language best for. So this is what is the right use case, right? What are the different use cases, right? So think of some of those longer tail keywords that you always wanted to rank for. You need to make sure that you have longer tail signals in your listing, so that Rufus will recommend you for those, right? If you're the only listing that's saying, hey, we are a robo vacuum that works for specific types of dogs in this specific situation with this budget, right? And these are the questions that are important to me in my decision making criteria. I'm going to be recommended because I'm asking these longer tail signals, right? So there is a way you can build this, so you're compounding the signaling around all the different use cases. And Cosmo is intelligent enough to connect those dots so that you get recommended, right? So if you product knowledge graph map in the right way, you exponentially get matched for all the different signals and use cases and scenarios that are out there for yours, right? But there's a technical way you need to do that. Obviously, we do that for you. Okay, so reviews, etc. Right? So that's an important one. The next one is recommendations. What's the best robo vacuum for this use case under this price, right? So give me, okay, so this is, now I understand my buy criteria. Let me ask Rufus, hey, this is my buy criteria. Give me a recommendation in premium, mid, and cheap, or under $300 or whatever it is, right? So you need to make sure that you get recommended, right? And your attribute matching, and this is very important, right? So structured product attributes, how do you match those? Again, like the structural engineering part is really important. And then the moving into the other ones, like the delegate repeat purchases. This is a really interesting space that's starting to play. Restock my product every month, right? So this might be like, hey, great, I've bought a robo vacuum, I need to restock on, I don't know, cleaning materials or whatever the things are that are used. I don't know, because I don't know this product yet. But reorder the product I bought last time, right? This is also really good for groceries, right? So obviously, if you're buying a bunch of stuff, like, hey, these are the specific ones that I want you to reorder on my healthy snack list, right? So go ahead and do that, right? Or a great one is like, hey, look at my order history over the last 6 months and tell me what is best for me to put on subscribe and save that I'm going to save money on, and how often should I do it, right? These are really great. These are great questions. Like, I'm not clicking subscribe and save because I think I'm being oversold. I'm not really sure. But if Rufus can analyze it and come back with a recommendation, I'm going to go for that, right? So that's a really cool use case. And then, obviously, hey, I love these headphones. I want you to track over the next while. And if you see the product, the price drop more than it's dropped in the last 3 months, I want you to buy it, right? Or if it's dropped by 30%, that's what I'm willing to pay. If it does, just put it in my cart and buy it for me, right? Because I'm willing to buy it, right? Send a price alert for this product. What are the best deals for me right now? Are any of the items on my wish list the cheapest they're being sold for right now over the last 6 months, whatever it is, right? So these are things you can literally get answers back from Rufus to make sure that you are getting the best deal possible, right? So they're just starting to play in this area, but this agentic commerce agent that is there to help you with your goals, with your ideas of how to get the best bang for your buck on Amazon, it will be there and there to stay, right? So these are really important things that that's where the goal is, right? Which is getting recommended and even bought potentially without a specific customer specifically wanting your product, but relying on Rufus to recommend it for you. Just crazy, right? The people are doing this stuff on Amazon right now. And I was in the same boat as a lot of you. I wasn't using Rufus as much, but as I've engaged with it, like, that's literally how I shop today, because I just get there quicker and I feel better about my purchase, right? Okay, so I love this one. We got this phrase, ChatGPT is the new keyword stuffing for listings. And it's right because it's surface level, right? If people are like, oh, I could just use, this AI piece to generate my content. But it doesn't have the deep engineering that a product like Zonguru has, right? We have first party data out of Amazon. We have, that data being built into a structured way, understanding exactly what Amazon wants from a technical perspective in conversations with Amazon to make sure that Cosmo is optimized, right? So, you need that deeper engineering to ensure that your content is AI readable. But we don't only just do that, right? The really cool thing, and I'm sure guys like Brandon can talk to it, is in our system, and Helix, I'll give you a link, you guys can try later. It's going through the goal of saying, hey, if we're going to restructure your listings for this AI moment in Amazon, right? We also need to do the best things we can do in the best way, which is help you with brand strategy, brand voice, connecting with your customer in the right way, but more importantly, researching your niche and understanding from a positioning perspective what do customers want, what is the unique thing about your product, and what are your competitors talking about that you can do better, right? And if we can figure out that unique positioning perspective and then communicate that through your content to connect with the customer so that when they're reading it, they're like, oh man, you're answering all the things that matter to me, I'm going to buy it. That's a critical piece that we're doing as well. And through that process, we're obviously signaling Cosmo in the right way so that Rufus will recommend you because we have the technical mapping, right? So there's a bunch that go into this. So stop writing listings, right? Start engineering them, right? You can write listings all day, but if you're not engineering them based on that structural data from Amazon and the AI system and reverse engineering everything around Cosmo and Rufus, you're missing out on sales and you're not going to get recommended because you're not sending signals. You're not compounding the way that Cosmo intelligently learns about your listing. So for those infinite amounts of use cases that are now out there, both across the research and the intent-based way of buying products, you're not going to get recommended for half of the, for those pathways, right? Because you're not optimized. And we see drop in sales because of that. And we see increase in sales if you match, right? So we're going to jump in and show you an example. Okay, so let's get in. Let's do a live teardown of robot vacuum, right? We're going to jump into my screen right now. And we are going to check that out. So let's go for that. Okay, so here we go. Blank screen, right? I've typed in, the only thing I've typed in here so far is robot vacuum, right? So I wanted to make sure that we look at it without any historical. We know that Cosmo is going to start to look at my behavioral search criteria and then obviously pop specific results in this. I want it to be clean. So we've got here, I've just typed in, hey, the use case is I've never bought a robot vacuum. I don't know what's best. Let's just type it in, right? So I'll type in robot vacuum because maybe that's how I would start, right? In my search, right? You see sponsored ads, right? The typical, right? Overall pick, right? Pretty similar pictures there. There's an app. Okay, cool. What else do I see here? I see maybe like a water thing here, right? One with water. Okay, so yeah, notable arrival. Cool. This is just me educating me on the space right now, right? Again, I can start to click on these, right? Maybe I look at some titles, right? Turbo suction, cool. All-in-one vacuum and mop. Okay, so there's a vacuum side and there's a mop. That's why the water's there, right? So, okay, cool. Anything else here? Anti-tangle brushes. Okay, so maybe whatever that means. Okay, so this is how you educate. Typically, this is the old way of doing it, right? I'm going to go on these. Then I'm going to maybe look at, price, obviously, $249, $399, $149, $239, okay, $599, okay, interesting. Overall pick, right, the cheaper one, $149, okay. Reviews, 16,500, okay, so, okay, cool. So what I'm going to then do is start clicking on these results, right? Okay, this one is interesting to me. Oh, $1,000 for this guy, dream, okay, let me click on this, right? Sponsored, right? I might click on that, right? So again, you guys know this process, but we're not going to do that right now. I don't want to, get the algorithm to start, because Rufus will start recommend. If I click on one of these, they might see that as a signal to start recommending that, right? So let's go and look at Rufus, right? So I'm going to open up Rufus. Okay, so it's already starting to help me here. Best for pet hair. So that's obviously an important one. Wi-Fi mapping models. Okay, so probably mapping it to your house. Budget-friendly, self-emptying types, carpet versus hardwood, right? These are already interesting things that I've got to think about around my house, right? Let's just say the use case is I have a dog. I don't have a dog, but like let's just say that is what it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and grab the. So I have a slide with the questions, right? So let's just start with the questions. I'm going to drop in. I'm just going to copy it so I don't have to. I don't have to type it in front of you guys, but let's just drop in. Okay, so we're going to go. What should I consider when buying a robot vacuum? Right? I don't know. Let's see what it says. Okay. Here are the key considerations when choosing a robot vacuum, especially for your household, right? Navigation system, look for smart mapping and room-specific cleaning for efficient coverage. Cool. Suction power, important for picking up daily debris, crumbs, and pet hair. Battery life, choose models with 90 plus runtime, right? This is all critical information for me to understand before I go and buy a product. And what is it doing at the same time? It's Rufus is improving my confidence in the recommendations, right? I'm going to trust it more. Remember, 60% higher conversion rate. Wow. Rufus is actually giving me some information. Self-emptying, convenient for busy families. Multi-service capability, carpets, hardwood, for household, child safety, models with app scheduling to clean. Okay, cool. Noise level, quieter models, interesting. Easy maintenance, smart home integration, right? Budget considerations, 200 to 400 bucks, 400 to 700 plus. Like that's an amazing amount of information that I've just got educating me on this product category before I've even clicked on any listings. How long will it take me to figure out those are all the things I should be considering by just not engaging with Rufus, right? A long time. So I'm sure you guys can see the kind of the quality level of what you're getting out of this before you're even going to go in and buy that. Okay, so let's just make this up right now. To me, okay, maybe suction power is important, right? Battery life, multi-surface capability, and maybe noise level, right? So those are things that are important to me right now. So we'll come back and remember those, right? Okay, so let's go on to the second question that I put down here. Okay, so it's gonna we can probably even make this a little bit. I've got an example here, but we can probably make it a little bit more detailed in this. What's the best robot vacuum for pet hair multi-floor homes under 500 bucks, right? So let's go multi-floor homes under 500 bucks with 90 plus minutes of battery power and maybe noted as excellent suction power. Pretty cool, right? So pet hair, multi-floors, 500 bucks, 90 bucks. Let's see, right? And importantly, I haven't changed this, right? So I want to see what's recommended here. So right now we have Eufy, Roborock, right? Okay, sponsored, right? Roomba, all these other ones, right? So just remember that because we want to see like what is it going to recommend, right? Hopefully this is interesting. Hopefully, maybe creating some users of Rufus if you haven't used that, right? And clearly, if you have a brand, if you haven't gone on and actually reverse, the point is like, even if I'm doing this right now, you should be reverse engineering your product on Rufus and how you get answers on that, right? So put in your category up front, right? Whatever your category is, put that in and start to see what it's recommending. Is there a difference between the organic recommendations and Rufus? I mean, right off the bat, there's right. Shark Matrix clean, right? Top performance for Pete. Shark IQ robot, right? None of these were coming up over here. Roborock is, right? So Roborock's good. We've got this one. Budget friendly. Unionel robot vacuum, right? Why are these guys being recommended, right? Kilgon, Tcom, right? Why are all these guys being recommended when over here it's not, right? Now, again, it could be obviously the keyword could be a little bit more specific, but I don't know what I don't know, right? And so these are what's been recommended versus Rufus, right? And now it's saying, hey, so Shark AI Ultra offers the best overall value with the self-empty base, while the this is important, the Shark AI, okay, and Roborock Q7 provides premium features at your budget limit, right? At your budget limit. So compare Shark versus Roborock, right? So we could do that. Which handles long pet hair best? Show, it's giving you some ideas, right? But let's look at what I have here and let's see if there's anything else I'm going to bring in. So real quick, let's go over here. Okay, we're gonna get into that in a second. So okay, let's go. Let's say okay, so let's go. Let's see the pricing here. So let's just ask it. Let's just go. What is your top recommendation? Okay, Roborock, right? 249. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to click on this, right? Where is it? Roborock. This one. Okay. So this one. Oops. All right. So this one here, let's go and grab this ASIN. I want to run this. Let's go back. Okay. So we have Roborock and there was another one. So I want to compare it to the other one as well, right? But so it was Roborock, right? And I think there was what was the other one? The other one was, I think it was Shark IQ, right? Okay, so why did it recommend Roborock over Shark IQ? Let's see. But what I want to do right now is jump in. Jump in and actually show you. So we have a tool, right? It's called the Cosmo Readiness Report. Now, this is not the Helix product I'm going to show you in a second, but this is really a free tool you guys can use to assess your optimization of your content for both Cosmo and Rufus, right? So let's just drop. I'm interested. Does this one score well, right? So I'm going to drop it in. I'm going to generate the reports. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It's going to go and actually look at the scoring of this listing, right? So I want to know, is this one actually well scoring for Rufus and Cosmo on Amazon? And then I'm going to jump in and actually just show you a little bit of our product as well. So there's a question here. So I'm going to come back here, right? So Michael, do you think brands may lose a bit of market share with Rufus? Absolutely, right? So if the question is, are you going to lose market share on Amazon? Yes, because what we're seeing is currently what you're optimized for and you're getting recommended for in the organic search results right here is very different to what you're being recommended for in Rufus, right? So one, if this is what Amazon is all in on, right? And there's an agentic model, and yes, it's recommending on Rufus, but you're not appearing in the organic search results. Why? And how long are you going to hold that lead before it shifts completely over, right? And we see listings that are 6 months old that have just been keyword optimized that aren't optimized for signaling, starting to lose market share, starting to drop in results. And there's naysayers out there that are going to say there's no ways, right? But I can guarantee you, your keyword indexing and what you have in your listing right now, and your reviews and everything that you have around your performance metrics is getting you recommended for Cosmo for sure in a lot of ways. But if you don't have the structured listing engineering in place to make sure that your signals are there for this other discovery layer and all these different use cases that are now being used on Amazon, you're not being discovered and you're not making sales, right? So you're missing out on shares. And then Amazon's obviously seeing that as important because they're getting more money out of it, higher average cart values, higher conversion rates. So if you're not signaling for what it cares about, you're going to start dropping in rankings, and then just going to surface another product in your place, right? Amazon is cutthroat. There's so many products that it can sell. It's going to sell the ones that are optimized best for its goals, right? Which is clearly this as well. So those are really critical for you to understand, in this space, right? All right, so this is almost done. As soon as it's done, we can have a look at it. What else do I want to say here? So we'll look at the Shark one as well, right? We'll come back and look at that one as well. What else do I want to say about this? So okay, so the other part is we're going to choose a product. So let's choose one right now. So let's say, okay, we chose. Okay, we'll go with the Roborock. Add it to my cart. Please also add the top 3 accessories you think I need. Now, this is an important one, right? Because I'm having these great conversations with Rufus. I'm trusting the recommendations, and you know what? Like, I want to buy this Roborock, but like, what are the top accessories that I need around this? Is it like refills? I don't know, right? Is it refills? Is it filters? Is it something else, right? It's going to come back and recommend, right? And put them in my cart for me because I'm like trusting Rufus Arena right now. Average cart value goes up. Like this is what Amazon is seeing, why they're all in, right? Because if I'm having this experience and I'm like, okay, great, I got the main product. Give me the top 3. What is it giving me? Okay, so hey, I've added that. Your main robot vacuum, right, is self-emptying based on this, right? So I need the official floor cleaning, right? I need this accessory kit, right? Replacement compatible with Roborock, right? Roborock 2-pack microfiber mop cloths, right? So it's gone and added those, right? This is a really critical one for Cosmo. It's called the co-buy mapping, right? Which is like used with, right? And so many listings are missing the used with co-buy coefficient or whatever we want to call the mapping there, right? Cosmo needs to be able to connect the dots and say, hey, if someone is using a robo vacuum, what are the other types of products that are being used so that I can recommend them, right? Clearly accessories, right? This one right here is actually compatible. It's not sold by Roborock, right? So why is it getting recommended? It's probably compatible with Roborock and Shark and whatever, right? So there might be other ones here. Like if you're a pet hair product, right? Can you say, hey, goes well with robo vacuum users, right? Because this brush will help with whatever, right? If I can make those connections, it might come back here and say, hey, you know what? Like outside of this, you should actually get a product. We can even put that in there. Let's just try it. What about recommended products for pet hair cleaning that go well with this robo vacuum? I don't know. I'm just trying to see, like, does it connect to any other ones, right? So it's looking for other products in the catalog now that are saying, hey, if someone is buying a robo vacuum because they have this pet hair, aspect to it, what are the recommendations that I can get in place, right? So it looks like it's still thinking. So we'll come back and see it in a second. Let's see. Come on, Rufus. What's going on here? Let's refresh the page here. Maybe it's somehow. Let's see. Let's put this in here. Okay. All right. So let's go and look at this in the meantime. Okay. Okay. So overall readiness score, 60 out of 100. So interestingly, the Cosmo mapping is really strong here, but the Rufus Q&A is pretty weak, right? So let's see what's going on here. Used with. So, okay. So this is really interesting, right? So it's got some of the strong semantic mapping in place, right? Target audience, compared to, right? Alternative is weak, right? But it shows you what's well developed, target audience, explicitly name audience segments like busy professionals, families with children, or elderlies seeking low maintenance solutions. So it's saying to you, hey, to improve your mapping, tell us a little bit more about the different types of audiences. So yes, like pet hair, pet audiences probably answered, but maybe the other ones aren't, right? So if I improve that, I'm going to get more discoverability, right? I want to look at the used with, right? So used with, right? So Roborock enables control and monitoring, app supported, 2.7 sealed dust bag, right? It's saying here, list compatible smart home ecosystems, right? So it's identifying, saying, hey, if you want to be recommended more, if people are looking for the right compatible Wi-Fi systems to put in place that work with this, if you tell me a little bit more about like what you're compatible with, I'll recommend you, right? So the point of this is like you get a whole breakdown of the Cosmo semantic mapping side and also the Rufus Q&A buy side of what you need to improve, right? So here it's saying, hey, it'll handle with long pet hair without clogging, right? So great. Does it work with Wi-Fi? Yes. Does it work well on thick carpets? That needs to be improved. Will it fit under my furniture and beds? Can it handle multiple floor types in one session? Does it automatically return to the dock? How easy is it to clean the brushes, right? So all of these things are really important, right? So if I can map it correctly and answer the top questions and do the Cosmo mapping, it then connects the dots together and it creates a compounding effect where it'll actually go out there and recommend you for more, right? So even with this product that got recommended, there's absolutely things that can be improved to ensure that it's answering even more questions and can be recommended more, right? So this is free. You can use it. Some other questions that aren't answered, it will break that down. How loud is it during operation, right? So that's really important. We didn't put in that, and it needs to be less noisy. A9 versus Cosmo, it'll put all of these in here, and you get so much out of this. So this is critical for you right now to take and actually run on your listing to see, hey, where are the improvements that I can make? Yes, I'm mapping well in some areas, right? Keyword search mapping, some Rufus Q&A, some Cosmo mapping, but where are the gaps? And if I improve those, can I improve the compounding effect and get recommended for the multitude of different use cases that are out there, right? And so I recommend you go ahead and actually run this on your actual product. Improvements that these guys can make, and that will significantly improve sessions, conversion rate, niche rank, and ROI. You'll get that back literally in seconds. That's where I'm going to stop today in terms of how do you access this. I'm going to show you a link here. I also just want to briefly touch on, if I'll give you a link to this, but you can sign up for ai.zonguru.com. This is where you come in, you literally go through this process, you hit get started, you literally just go and add your brand and just let our agentic system start working. It'll basically build your brand positioning documents around what actually, your brand strategies, your brand voice, what makes you unique, everything that it knows about your brand. You can then give feedback on that. It will then do it on the product side and really understand what customers want, how to differentiate you against your competitors, and surface that and make sure that your attributes that are important are answered. And then we actually convert your listings both on the content copy side and the image side to make sure you have these high converting listings that connect with customers to make sure that they convert, but also that is connecting with Cosmo and is AI readable, and you can actually go ahead and map, right? So go through the process. You literally just jump in and start. There's a cool guide that will take you through the whole process, and you can do that in under 10 minutes, which typically it will take you 2 weeks to do that, right? If you do all the research that is done here, it's going to take you 2 weeks, right? So get in there and give it a go. This is the free Cosmo report, right? So if you want to get in and use that, go to zonguru.link/CosmoRS. So go ahead. You can go to zonguru.com. There's links there. You can click on it. But otherwise, go to zonguru.link/CosmoRS, and you can get access to that. Or if you want to start using Helix, go to zonguru.link/Helix. Zonguru.link/Helix. And sign up there. It's a free registration, and you can literally start building your brands right away. And when you get to the transformations, you can buy credits and transform your listings. And you get that ROI. The ROI on Helix is day zero. You will start, as soon as you post that live, you're going to start getting a return on investment on that. I can guarantee you. As Brandon says right here, that he's a massive user of that, over 90 listings and getting crazy results, right? Which is awesome. Let's see what else is here. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna finish this up in a second, but I can vouch for that. Yes, Brandon, I totally 100% get that. You helped Michael with his questions, so that's great. Fantastic. So I hope that's helpful, guys and girls, in terms of understanding the different ways that people are using Rufus. It is literally just the beginning, and the day is coming where, and I see Amazon testing this already, where you're opening the homepage and half of it is Rufus instead of just that button in the top. And the day is coming where you're going to type a keyword into Amazon, and instead of you just getting an organic list of products, you're going to get a Google-like experience where the top section is going to be AI generated and start a conversation with you. And if that happens and you're not sending the right signals, you're going to be way behind the ball. So, we're at the infancy of this AI agentic commerce, especially on Amazon. You need to be ahead of the game so that as the disruption happens, you are the first in line over your competitors, and that's where you gain traction. It's probably the biggest potential for your increase in revenue is to make sure that you're aligning with Amazon's goals and objectives around agentic commerce. And if you can be first there, you'll one up your competitors and be the one that's recommended, right? So I hope you got a lot out of that, and go to those links that I said, zonguru.link/CosmoRS. There are thousands of people using that report right now to make sure that their listings, or to check whether their listings are optimized or not, and to get insights as to how to do it. You can either do that yourself, or obviously if you want to use our system, you can jump in, sign up at Helix, sign up for Helix, which is Zonguru's new agentic structured listing engineering product, and make sure that your listings are structured in the best way for human conversion and for AI readability. We'll be back next Friday with another live teardown where we can get in and jump in and check that out. And look out, if you haven't joined our newsletter, join that. We have a partnership webinar coming up pretty soon, different partners with different areas of expertise. And then also our typical monthly webinar where we'll jump in to some more around the structured listing engineering. And there'll be plenty of people on there having good conversation around how to navigate this in the best place possible for the biggest changes happen on Amazon in the last 10 years for sure. All right, everyone, enjoy, and we will catch you soon. Have a great weekend ahead, and thank you again for everyone coming on. And a shout out for Brandon. I know you're on this very often, and I hope you're getting a lot out of it. And it's great to see your results coming on. So we'll check it out. Yeah, cheers. Enjoy the weekend. Bye.